I still take coaching programs. I think if you're a coach, you always need to invest in yourself. You don't know it all. You won't know it all next year. You can always learn. So I'm constantly taking, even still around communication, I'm still taking communication classes. But I took a coaching class. I never would have been doing the master team programs that I'm doing because I was doing one-on-one, and I learned I need to scale it with more people. But also I found I can do more in 6 months with a group of people than I can one-on-one for 2 years.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm Kevin, and today we're joined by Greg Stevens. He's the author of, this is a long title, Building Bridges, the Art of Restoring Impossible Relationships. He's been a coach for over 26 years. We're going to round up. It's technically 25 years and 11 months, but we're going to round up. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Kevin, thanks so much for having me. It's going to be fun being here with you.
Yes, we were just like chopping it up before we started recording and stuff, and you have a ton of stories. Let's get into the first story. I always love to ask guests their origin story, the lore. And so I'm kind of curious, what was the moment that you realized that you want to become a coach? And more importantly, turn it into a business, I guess.
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. And I never thought I would be a coach. I wasn't looking to do that, or a public speaker or a trainer. I was a pharmaceutical rep for a big pharmaceutical company for 13 years.
Which one?
And Roche Laboratories, Hoffman LaRoche.
Okay,
Yeah.
I usually never interrupt my guests,
No,
but
it's
I
fine.
used to be a pharmacist, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Crazy. Anyways, continue your story.
Yeah, we sold Rocephin, Zantac were the first co-marketed drug. Had
Yeah.
great success with that, and had the golden handcuffs, and loved my job. And then I started getting bored with my job. I also didn't like where the industry was going, and I hired a life coach. And he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I just feel like this isn't for me, and I don't know if I want to stay in sales. I don't know what I want to do." And he said, "Well, what have you always wanted to do?" I said, "I wanted to be an actor." He goes, "Well, get an acting coach, go out." And before you knew it, I had an acting coach. I had an agent. I was getting plays and business here in Austin while I was working, and I loved it for a short amount of time. And I said, I was about to move out to LA, and I said, this just doesn't call to me like I thought it would. And then this is after about 4 or 5 months, so everything really moved quick. And he said, "Well, have you ever thought about being a coach like I am, or being a trainer?" Because he said, "You've got this great background," because I'd done a lot of work with landmark education. I'd done some work outside. I've worked in a mastery course. I was always learning things about human development, human behavior, human potential. And he said, "You've got this great background." He goes, "I think you'd be a great coach." And I thought, well, he said, "Think about it." So the next week I came back. I said, "Well, I've been thinking about it. What would that mean?" He said, "Well, it was early on in the coaching area, and there was Coach U, and ICF just started. And he had done a true apprenticeship." He said, "Greg, you could go to ICF or Coach U and do their work. It's about a 6-month program. Or you could do a real apprenticeship with me for a couple of years. You need to, between 1,000 to 2,000 hours worth of free coaching. You can enroll people in my training courses. You produce all that, but you don't make any money. You pay me first, and you pay me to be your coach throughout all this, and keep your job." I thought, that sounds like a good deal. But I did it. I did it, and I was glad I did, because it ran me through the paces to understand what enrollment was if you're trying to get people to engage in your training courses. And he taught a man-woman relationship class, which really I love, because it's the first time I understood the man-woman dynamic. And for about 2.5 years, I worked with John Catalina, and he developed me. And then I decided to go out on my own in 1999. And after all that time, and I thought I was going to take it by storm. And I got out. And after the first year, my accountant goes, "What did you do?" He's looking at my tax returns. He's like, "Man, you left that job and you're making this." And he said, and after the second year, he said, "Greg, I think you made a mistake." He goes, "It's going to take so long because I didn't make anything." I was doing free coaching. I was going out training. And then all of a sudden, I didn't give up on myself. I stuck with it. And one of the free talks I was given led to one thing to another to another. And before you knew it, all of a sudden my business took off to the point where from, I think it was 2003 till just COVID, I never had to look for a client because
Wow.
I worked with Crucial Learning. I worked with my own business and just business started coming. I was completely busy, loved my life. And then COVID hit, and I've always learned that when there's trouble, there's opportunity. And I thought, what do I do now? And my mentor said, "Greg," he said, "you're ready to go on a bigger stage, don't you think?" And I thought, I don't care about a bigger stage. He said, "I think your work is powerful enough. You need to impact more people." And he ended up writing the foreword to my book. His name is Bill Solomon. And during that time, I decided to create a new company, Alignment Resources, where we actually go in and we help people understand and learn not only the skills, but practice the skills to have their most difficult conversations of their lives. So that's how, and it's funny because marketing changed a lot from 2003 to 2020, 2021. All of a sudden, everything's different. And I didn't know how to do what I didn't, know. And so now we're just now starting to feel the change. It's taken us a while to find it because we hired a lot of marketing groups out there that just didn't deliver for us. We started getting to see there's a lot of posers out there that don't do what they say. And we got taken on a lot of things, but we've learned that we've got a system now that really is working for us. And we're also looking to always scale more because to me, it's not about money, fame, or getting out there. It's really about what is the message. I believe we've got a message people need to hear. It helps people really change their lives and develop the relationships. And when people finish our program, I've got some of the biggest, I wouldn't call them disciples, but I'd call them, they're shouting the great things about what we do. It's real, and I felt like we need to get that kind of message out there because we need the type of leaders that we can trust, that have character, and know how to say the hard thing. And we're going to walk us through their vision to where we need to go, but it'll be respectful, and they'll lead in a way that actually unites people rather than divides them.
There's so much here that I want to dive into. Let's start with the marketing actually, because you mentioned so many different aspects. Right? You're mentioning how marketing has changed over the years. I'm kind of curious, how has your marketing changed and what does it look like nowadays, I guess? Like what are different types of marketing that you guys are doing?
Yeah. Well, back in the day, email was kind of new when I was doing things. I'm talking, this is changing the decade. You pick up phone and call people and, do free talks and things like that. Then the internet hits and I'm doing all this other work. People are getting me business. So I don't understand how I'm not keeping up with it. Then I wake up in 2020, 2021, trying to do something different. And it's completely different, as you know. Everything now it's a different beast that I didn't understand. And I need to wrap. One of the things I find, if you're out there looking, you need to find a good, at least consulting marketing agent. So who knows where to point you for what you need to do, what's effective. And that's what we finally found, some people who we really trust in marketing, and they're helping us with that now.
You mentioned, I'm assuming that you're getting a lot of referrals from
That's
what
where
you
we're
mentioned
doing
before.
most. Yeah.
Okay. And are you trying any other sorts of marketing, like content marketing or paid ads or anything like that?
We've done some of that before, and for what we're doing, it really, Kevin, it didn't work. And now it could work. I always am the thought it possibly can, but we've had We've had 3 marketing agencies actually work with us for 6 months to a year and brought us zero. I mean, how can
Zero?
you bring zero, 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 3 different marketing agents? And it's like, are you kidding me? But that's what I'm saying. And so now we still are hiring some people, but we put a clause in it. And I just said, I've been burned. And I'm the type, it's interesting, most coaching practices don't give a money back guarantee. I do. We have big ticket items, but if you go through our program, you don't feel like you're a stronger communicator, we'll sit down and talk about it, but we'll give you your money back because I don't want your money if it's not going to work. You're not paying me for my time, you're paying me for your results. And that's the way I look at when I'm dealing with marketing people now. Okay, put a money back guarantee clause in it. We'll work with it, and we want to work with you and do this. And we've done that with a couple, and they've actually, one had to come back and say, here's your money back. Others are like stepping up right now. But what we do is a tough sell because most people don't want to go in and have to have the tough conversations. They see this as, oh my gosh, who would want to do that? But they're not looking at what's on the other side. And that's one of the things we've got to learn is how to market ourselves in a way where they see what's on the other side, not the problem of going through the process.
Yeah. And I guess, like, through your perspective, what's the hardest part about marketing for a coaching business right now or finding new
Well,
clients?
yeah, I'd say finding the right match and getting the funnel set up, trying to figure out the right funnels. So who's it going to go through? What's the messaging? How's it going to get to you? And that's my goal. I've got someone running my business now who it doesn't come to me now until the very end. Before I was having to have conversations up front, and I love having conversations to talk about what these programs do, but there's a lot of wasted time on those calls. You know, some people, they're just they have I'm busy. I don't have time to just sit and shoot, just talk. And I find some people are lonely, they want to do that, or they're trying to sell me something. A lot of people that come into the program, well, we're trying to sell you this, we're trying to sell you this. So it's not straight. It doesn't have a lot of integrity with it, is what I'm saying.
I'm kind of curious too. Who is your ideal? Like, a lot of people have like high stake. Well, I don't know how you would call it, but like high stakes conversations, I guess.
Yeah.
Who is your kind of like ideal client, I guess, or ideal
Yeah.
avatar?
My ideal client, we've got two because we got 2 different sides we're working on right now. My ideal client that we've been working with is executive, owner of business, partnership, whatever, a C-suite, but they're typically people who are constantly looking to improve themselves. Most of the people we have either currently have a coach or they're actually taking a break between coaches or they're looking at a different specialty for a little while. And so we have a program that's, 6 months to teach people how to have those conversations that they don't want to have. Then I'll send them back to their coach. Sometimes we've even had it where someone they came in and took it, and their coach was with them and took the class, because I get a lot of coaches in my class as well because they want to see what we're doing. Most people say, Kevin, you need to go have this conversation. But most people don't show you exactly what to walk through, what's going to show up. How do you manage your emotions in that moment? How do you deal with the other's emotions? How do you structure your message? What questions should I ask? And because it's overwhelming, no one's ever taught us, we tend to put it off. We don't see what it costs us.
Yeah, I've actually had that amygdala hijack before. Like when I was first learning how to have these like conversations and be very tactful with my messages and stuff. So I think having a coach definitely really helps because it breaks it into smaller pieces and makes it definitely way less overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk business for a second. Like, one of the things I love about this podcast is just like hearing about the different business models that are working for other coaches, especially at different stages too. And so I'm very curious, like, in terms of your coaching containers, what does it kind of look like right now? Do you offer one-on-one group coaching? Do you have like courses? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, my business is, we've set it up where we call it a master team, because it's part mastermind where everyone comes in and helps each other with an idea. It's a part master class where I'm actually going to teach. I'm a master trainer in some of this work, so I'm going to teach on some of them. Other times it's group coaching with a group, and the people in my executive group have the ability to call me when they want to, when they have a difficult conversation. I have CEOs going to talk to their board and they need to talk and get their team aligned. I'll sit down and they'll lay out their message for me. Then I help them structure it in a way that actually helps them move it forward, and I show them where they're probably going to get resistance, and we talk about it, and we get them prepared to go in to have that high stakes conversation in a way that builds the relationship. But they've got a hand holder there. And so I'll work with them, and then they'll say, hey, Greg, I've got a conversation coming up. So we set a time and we work on that. And that's the 20-week program over 6 months that we have for executives and or business owners, things like that. Now we're also going to young adults. We thought we want to train the young leaders how to do what the old leaders don't know how to do. The people we've been on the executive side, and we're going to market toward them and possibly parents or companies to look at that. And it's the same 20-week program, but it's designed for the younger generation. There's a different way of teaching and engaging. A lot of the things are the same, but you've got to get past some of the barriers they have with technology, face-to-face conversations. There's a lot of anxiety around that. But it doesn't mean it's going away. That's one thing I feel like with AI, there's so many great things about AI, but you're still going to have to deal with people. I feel like we'll always be in business because we are that bridge between relationships, and that's what we want to help people develop.
There's that whole theory in the future, it'll just be different AI agents interacting with each other in negotiations through that, which will be.
What are the rest of us going to do, though? There's only so many golf courses you can play, and
Yeah.
before you're bored out of your mind. Maybe it'll open us up to solve different problems. I hope so. I'm
Yeah.
not scared of AI. I just think you've got to look at it like it's a support of what we're doing, make us more efficient. One thing, I talked to someone the other day. Wow, I saved 2.5 hours using this program. Okay, what did you do with that 2.5 hours that you saved? Well, did you really do anything that's going to support your growth and understanding? Did you take 2.5 hours to study something, learn something? No, I filled it with this or entertainment or whatever. And when you start to look at it, we have a real opportunity. But the time you save on AI, what are you going to use that time? I think it's important to ask yourself that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see how you structure your coaching as well, because it almost feels like a multi. Maybe in the future you'll incorporate AI, but it feels like a multidisciplinary like team, almost like kind of in healthcare we have like different group practices and stuff. Like you'll see a social worker with a physician, with a pharmacist, with all these different things, and you're just like combining all these resources together, which
Yeah.
is really interesting. Yeah.
Well, let me share the makeup of just one of my master teams right now. We have a person who's a CTO of a Fortune 10 company, okay? A CTO from there. We have a Catholic priest who's head of the seminary, okay? We have someone who's has a amazing nonprofit. She's the leader of that. We also have someone who actually finds deals for billionaires that he works with and new companies to buy. We have a super marketing person who's actually marketing at such a different level. We have different business owners that have left the medical field and they're in real estate now. And then we have who else? I'm trying to think. But it's really random from different groups. We've got also a head of an engineering firm. So all these people come together, and we have an area where we want to go. We want to teach you how to have your hard conversations. But I know each time I go in, I could sit and teach for 2 weeks straight, 8 hours a day, and never bring up the same subject matter twice. So I've got a lot in my toolbox, but when we come in, it's like, what do you need based on where we are right now? And
Yeah.
so I never know where the conversation is going to go, but I love it because it's so detailed to what you want. So many programs are like, okay, we're going to walk you through this. I'm going to teach you how to have the conversations today that you're going to
Mhm.
have for the rest of your life.
What's interesting about all those people is that they all have different conversations and insights and perspectives that one person could never have, you know? And so find that very interesting. Which leads me to my next question, actually, because I think off podcast we were talking about kind of your ambitions with this like coaching business as well, right? And I think you mentioned you're looking to kind of scale. And so my question for you is like, what does kind of scaling your coaching business look like to you, or what does it mean to you, I guess?
Yeah. Well, it means that our message is getting out there and helping people. That's what I want to do with it. It's to help people be able to speak their truth respectfully and to build relationships. That's the core of what we do across the board. And so scaling to me means my schedule is full of coaching that I want to do. And then it fills over into my business partner where his is full. And then to other people we have in our group. My goal, I called our company alignment resources because I want everyone to eat at the trough. I want our salespeople to sell. I want our trainers to train. I want our coaches to coach. So, but everyone's a 1099 who comes in and joins us. And we've created a whole networking piece that we never knew was going to exist because of the connections we've made.
And as you are kind of scaling as well, what are some challenges that you're kind of noticing that most people would not be aware of, I guess?
For me, how much time it takes to get it off the ground. I think that I had no clue, for at least for our company, how long it would take and how many barriers we've run into. And it's funny because people will come in and say, "Oh, I've got the answer for you. Great. Let's see what you can do with it." Well, I'm not going to do it for. You see people waffle on what they promise. I don't waffle on what I promise. I get out there and I expect the same from my marketing people. I put skin in the game. And it's interesting because we worked with a new marketing person and my business partner and I said, well, if he gives us money back guarantee, we'll work with him. And I said, if he does what he promises, we're going to give him a bonus at the end, but I don't want to tell him. And he said, great. And so we decided, yeah, we're going to give him a bonus. Then we got back on the phone with him and we walked through. And at the very end, he said, well, if I give you that money back guarantee, I would like to have something on the back end as a bonus or something. And so I started laughing. I go, well, we'll tell you now then. We were going to do that anyway because I want you to see who you're in business with. And that's what one of the things I'm looking for people with integrity that actually do what they say, not say, I want this much money because of my time. I'm not paying you for your time. I'm paying for results. And if you get results, we'll all be happy at the end. But that's just it. So many people don't really produce results and they can't back it up. And that's a key. That's why I started saying, I'm one of the few coaches I know that give a money back guarantee on what we do. I'll always do that. I've always felt like that.
Yeah, and it seems like you've kind of built that culture within your business as well, too. Like since it seems like you've been burned with a lot of different investments in the past. Let's play a game if you're open to it, Greg.
Absolutely.
This segment is only with me. If you got anybody else, you would not get this segment at all. But I love this game because I learned so much from people like yourself. It's called Good Investment, Bad Investment. So I would love to know the best thing you spent money on for your coaching business and the worst thing you've spent money on your coaching business that you wish you got your money back from.
Yeah.
If you're open to it, love to hear your best investment, worst investment.
Yeah. Got like 2 or 3 best investments. So let me give you those. First is investing in my branding. I hired a branding agent. I didn't know how to really brand myself. I come from the era that you don't beat your chest or anything else. But my branding agent, when they took everything and put it together and they read it back to me, actually brought tears to my eyes because I was like, they see me now. My branding agent was awesome. So that helped us. Also, my book, investing the time and the resources to get my book out there. And then the third thing was I still take coaching programs. I think if you're a coach, you always need to invest in yourself. You don't know it all. You won't know it all next year. You can always learn. So I'm constantly taking, even still around communication, I'm still taking communication classes. But I took a coaching class. I never would have been doing the master team programs that I'm doing because I was doing one-on-one, and I learned I need to scale it with more people. But also I found I can do more in 6 months with a group of people than I can one-on-one for 2 years. The results speak for themselves, and I never would have done that program had I not taken the class with that coach. So those are the 3 really good investments I've had. And they were all significant investments. I mean, anywhere from $15,000 to up to 40 or 50,000 on one of the things that I did. And they have all returned the money though, assets. The worst has been people trying to create the funnels, the marketing funnels for our business. Now, for other businesses, for our business, it just doesn't seem to work. And when people, even the marketers are stunned, like I told you, when 3 different groups get you 0 over a 6-month period, that's pretty bad. So, and some people say, I don't understand that. Well, I get it, but we didn't either, and we paid for it. So, can't explain it to me. All of this, it shifted our view around who we trust in marketing. And now we do a real heavy vetting, and we still pay for marketers now, but we just make sure their skin is in the game with us.
You don't have to give details, but how do you vet these marketers after going through the experiences that you have?
Yeah, well, we call up people. Only deal with people we're referred to, and we find out people who if they've marketed towards something that we do. If they haven't done a coach or they haven't done some of these things, I'm not going to probably look at them. I'm going to look at where are they. Then we actually call some of the people, the references, but we want to find references that don't like them, if you can find any, and do that kind of work. But also through a referral, people who have been trusted, and then we get with them and we have the conversation. We get to know them. But even one company, Kevin, we were like, no, this isn't going to work for us because I just don't think y'all can do it. Oh, no, we can do it, I promise you. And they pulled us back in. And it was interesting because 4 months into it, they hadn't done anything. So we had an accountability conversation. That's what I do. And the guy was frustrated, and he goes, well, we don't understand your market. I go, hold on. That's exactly what you told us. You pulled us back in and said, we understand your market. And now you're saying you don't understand it. What changed?
Yeah.
And it's just like egg all over their face. But to this day, they still haven't. It's been 1.5 years. They haven't brought us one client. Well, they've sent us four people that signed up to talk to us. 3 of them wanted jobs, and one was a no-show, So you can imagine my feeling around that. But again, I learned some of those lessons. And if people are listening, just make sure you vet your people. Make sure you know what they're doing. Look at not the stuff they put online. Call some people. Make a phone call. Get to know them a little better than just whatever that is, and have them put skin in the game. If they don't want to put skin in the game, I just don't have time for people like that because that's not how we run our company as well.
Yeah. And I like that. It's like, it's not right or wrong. It's just like the way that you prefer doing business, and it's your preference,
Yeah.
I love that.
And some people don't want to do that, and that's great. They can spend their time finding the people that will work with them.
Final advice, Greg. You are a man of a lot of experience. So, knock on wood, let's say if your business dissolves overnight, something happened, and if you had to start all over again with 0 followers, 0 clients, and none of the relationships that you currently have right now, but you have all the wisdom and knowledge that you have right now, what would your first 90 days kind of look like?
Good question. I think my first 90 days would be sit down and make sure I'm clear on my vision first. What is it I really want to do? And then lay out the next steps. What is the market I need to go to? Who do I know? If I don't know anyone, how do I get in front of those people? What networking events? But it would, if if I didn't have the relationships right now, I have so many great relationships, and that's where I might try to just start with something new. But you said I don't get that, so
Yeah.
I'd say if none of that was, I would get involved with different groups like Vistage or entrepreneurial associations or people that run for me that are dealing with I know they'll deal with relationship issues because I know what I do. And so I
Yeah.
would find out those who are struggling or probably have high stakes conversations most of the day. I'd find out where those groups meet and I'd try to get involved with some of those people and build relationships. If you've got something good, people will share it. That's one of the things
Yeah.
I talk about in my master team program. In the middle of it, I say, who would you refer us to? And if you wouldn't refer us, why? It means you're
Mm,
not getting what you came for. I ask that question not for the referral, but to find out where they are in the class, to find out
yeah.
what they are or not getting. Because think about it, Kevin, if you found something really great, what do? You tell your friends right away. You don't keep
Yeah.
it a secret, you share that. And so that's one of the keys. So it really helps me zero in what's holding back, what haven't we solved for you, and help people find some people, help them solve a problem, whatever it is. And
Mm.
from that point, you'll start to find people.
This question,
Hmm.
based off all the people you coach so far, what are the most common like high stakes conversations that you see?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest ones for executives are there's drama in the workplace. I don't know how to deal with it. Or there's a lack of accountability is another one. So there's drama, there's a lack of accountability, and there's just we're not hitting what we need to. We're not getting the numbers we need to. We're not getting the sales. Company's not doing what it needs to be doing. And there's stress on those areas. And that's what we go in because what we find is that when you start to be able to have those conversations, that's where you have breakthroughs. But the problem is most executives don't know how to have that. They know how to bark orders or get things like that. What we're talking about is something that works. I mean, no one likes to be told what to do. But I'm going to suggest this. If people are working for you, they want to understand and know your vision, align with it, and have you guide them there. But you have to guide. A lot of executives think, well, I know this. It doesn't matter what you know. You have a responsibility to actually get your people in alignment. It's amazing what can happen when your people are aligned. You can break all kinds of records. When they're divided, it tears it down. And when your job is to unite, it's to get those things in there. And you have to have skill sets personally to be able to do that. Barking orders isn't going to inspire the person to really take the wall. They want to do it because they care. And are you connecting that? And that's where leadership, I will believe, will happen because I believe the leaders we have in the world today, a lot of people are hesitant about leadership. We want real leaders. The real leaders, people will follow.
So true. I think about, funny enough, I was telling you, I did one of those crucial accountability or crucial conversations workshops in the past, right? And that's exactly how they led. They just barked orders at people, triggers egos. People like do the complete opposite. And it's just like a death spiral
Yeah,
down, you know?
it is. And the thing is they don't know what they don't know. And so we work in that blind spot. But when people do it, that's the other thing. The biggest breakthroughs for people are first a level of self-awareness they've never had after our program's done. They're like, I had no idea that I was causing so many of my own problems. Also, people learn to lean into the conversation. They hate waiting for it anymore. Now, my people, when they see it, they go and attack it. Why? Because they understand what we call emotional accounting. If you were to look at a spreadsheet, so Kevin, something happens on Friday, and I need to have a conversation with you on Friday morning, but I say I'll blow it off till Monday. Well, the whole weekend, I'm either thinking about it or I'm trying not to think about it. It's causing concerns. I'm thinking about all the different possibilities. Come Monday, I've got to have the same conversation that I was going to have on Friday, but I'm in even a worse spot, and I've wasted a weekend. If I would have had it on Friday, because I knew how to have it, I wanted to get to it, guess what? I would have had the whole weekend to solve whatever problems came up in that, rather than live in my head of space of anxiety. I don't know who it said. It's an old Easter proverb. The fear of death is worse than death itself. Well, the fear of the conversation is worse than the conversation itself. Really is.
Yeah, those open loops, it's like death by a thousand cuts. And
It is.
thank God with AI, it can recognize patterns in your like thought loops and stuff and just be like, hey, what are the open loops and stuff? And
Right.
it's just like so helpful. Greg, last question for you. How do people find you? How do they connect with you?
Yeah, real simple. Just go to our website, alignment-resources.com. Don't forget the dash in between, but alignment-resources.com. And all our information's on there. It talks about our master teams. It talks about my book. We've got a little of everything on there. We've got training programs with other trainers that you can hire us for. I don't do much training anymore. I do most of my master teams, but we're doing, again, the young leaders and the executives. And you can get me at greg@alignment-resources.com or my business partner, noah@alignment-resources.com. Best way to find us.
And you also have a book as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, here it is. It's Build New Bridges, The Art of Restoring Impossible Relationships. And so that's what we get to play with. What people think is impossible, most of the time it isn't. It's just a skill you don't have. You obtain it, the impossible can become possible.
Thank you, Greg, for coming on the podcast. It's very rare that we have someone who is 26 years in the industry, right? Coming on, just sharing all their experiences. And I'm sure, honestly, I could have gone for another 2 hours if I kept on asking. Like, I was actually, during this whole podcast, I was just like, oh my God, I want to know about this, this, and this. But I'm like, oh, dude, I have a hard cut off at the end of the hour. So I'm like, oh, man. So hopefully we get you for a part two. Hopefully I can block off more time on my schedule for for another podcast, man. But I appreciate you sharing everything with us today.
Kevin, thank you so much for having me on the show, and to your listeners, thanks for listening to Kevin. Keep listening, and I'm actually going to try to have Kevin on my podcast too, so hopefully he'll blast that out, because my podcast is about inspirational stories, and Kevin, yours has been an inspiration for me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.